A very good morning and a warm welcome to all of you. I, Harshananya, Assistant Professor from Government Law College, Ajmer, is present before you to deliver a lecture on the Right to Information Act. And today we shall be discussing Section 14 of this Act. Earlier we had studied Section 12 and 13, in continuance of which we shall study Section 14. Section 14, in the onset of it, talks about the removal of the Chief Information Commissioner as well as the Information Commissioners. Okay. So the first subsection provides that the Chief Information Commissioner or the Information Commissioners can be removed only on the order of President of India, and that too on the reference made by the President to the Supreme Court, and after having held a due inquiry in this regard, the reference has been received, and on the basis of which the removal of these information commissioners as well as the Chief Information Commissioner will take place. Okay. The President has the power to suspend the Chief Information Commissioner as well as the other information commissioners during the pendency of the inquiry, and if at all necessary, he may also prohibit the Chief Information Commissioner or the Information Commissioners, as the case may be, from entering into the office during the pendency of the inquiry of the reference made to the Supreme Court. Okay. Now another subsection provides which starts with a non-obstante clause. Okay, so it has an overriding effect to the subsection 1. So therefore the net effect is the President may remove the Chief Information Commissioner or the other information commissioners on the following grounds. Okay, so it is not necessary that a reference may always be made. Okay, and the reference will be made only in the case of proved misbehavior or incapacity. Okay, and what are the grounds for misbehavior are also mentioned, they are also provided under section 14. Okay, the misbehavior can be if the Chief Information Commissioner or the information commissioners, as the case may be, is in any way interested in any contract or any agreement in relation to the government. Okay, or if he has become any member, or okay, he is not a member but he is drawing some benefit out of it. Okay, out of a corporation, or if he is interested in the works of any corporation. Okay, so if such a situation arises and if he benefits from it, okay, and thereafter also he is working with that particular objective, okay, in his office, then it is a case of clear-cut misbehavior. So let us try to understand what are the grounds provided under section 14 in which, without even the reference, the President may directly remove the Chief Information Commissioner as well as the other information commissioners, as the case may be. The first point is he may remove these officers, these commissioners, on the ground of if they have become as an adjudged insolvent. Okay, so the order has to be passed by an appropriate court and it must be reached, it must have reached finality. Okay, it's clear. The next one is if the information commissioners have in any way during the term of their office receiving any paid employment, okay, outside his office. So this is also a very good ground for his removal. Thereafter, if in the opinion of President, the information commissioners or the chief information commissioner, as the case may be, has become infirm, okay, either bodily or mentally. So the net effect is he is unable to perform his duties effectively. So the president, if in his opinion considers the same, he may remove the person concerned. Okay. Also, in the case if any of the information commissioners or the chief information commissioner has been convicted of an offence which in the opinion of president is involving a moral turpitude, then also the president may remove the person. Also, if the information commissioner or the other information commissioners has in any way developed an interest, whether financial or of any other nature, then and they are acting in pursuance of that, okay, so the president may remove again.
Now let's try to understand chapter 4, that is to say section 15 of the Right to Information Act, which deals with the State Information Commission. The institution of State Information Commission is really important, and let's understand its technicalities. So, the state government, by a notification in the official gazette, constitute a State Information Commission, and it shall begin with the name of that particular state. So, for the example, if the state government of Rajasthan is going to constitute a State Information Commission, then the name shall be Rajasthan Information Commission. Okay, so for example, if it is to be constituted for the state of Madhya Pradesh, then it shall be Madhya Pradesh Information Commission. Okay, it is mandatory for the state governments to constitute a State Information Commission. Who are the members of State Information Commission and what are their numbers? There shall be a State Chief Information Commissioner along with such other information commissioners not exceeding 10. Okay, so the central and the state here, if we want to compare or if we wish to compare, they are the same. Okay, in the Central Information Commission also such other number of information commissioners not exceeding 10 were there, and there was a Chief Information Commissioner. So the model remains basically the same. Who makes their appointment? Another question which one needs to ponder upon. The Chief Minister of the state government shall be the chairperson of the State Information Commission appointment committee. Okay, so the committee will be headed by the Chief Minister of the state government along with the leader of opposition from the State Legislative Assembly and one cabinet minister who will be nominated by the Chief Minister itself. Now let us understand in this regard what is the leader of opposition. There is an explanation to this effect in which it is specifically provided that in case if a party is not recognized as such, and if in case leader of opposition is not recognized, then what happens? Then, in that case, the leader of the single largest party in opposition shall be the leader of opposition. Okay, so what are the functions of State Information Commission? The power of general superintendence, directions, and management, the overall supervision of the State Information Commission has to be done by the State Chief Information Commissioner, who will be assisted by the Information Commissioners, and they shall work autonomously under this act, and they will be subject to none. Okay, so what are the various qualifications which are required for the appointment of State Chief Information Commissioner or the Information Commissioners? So basically, these people must be persons of eminence in public life, and they must have wide knowledge and experience in the field of law, of course, science and technology, social services, mass communication, management, etc., etc. Okay, and what are the various grounds of disqualifications? In order to be appointed as an information commissioner or the state chief information commissioner, a person must not be a member of parliament or member of legislative assembly of any state or a union territory. They must not hold any office of profit or belong to any political party. So if any connections whatsoever held earlier must be severed before getting appointed as an information commissioner of the state. Okay, and finally, the headquarters of the State Information Commission shall be such as may be notified in the official gazette for this purpose by the state government, and the State Information Commission, with the prior approval of the state government, may establish its offices. Okay, thank you, dear viewers and students. Our journey for today's lecture ends here.